Well, today I'm heading down to Dumfries to pick up a roller shutter and roll bars for this year. But in my wisdom last night, I decided to start doing a wee job before I went. Trying to replace the 4-wheel drive solenoid, which is down there. Well, it's just kind of loose at the moment because it's hanging there. So yeah, that was a good idea. I've got about half an hour before I want to leave, so wish me luck. Well, what started as a parts acquisition video, which by the way we did get. You can see the bars in the back there, see them out there. Got the roll bar and the shutter. I probably paid a bit too much for it, but the guy was really nice, and I drove a few hours away to get it, and he helped me fit it while I was there. You know, let me use his tools and drill holes in the bed for the roll bar, so quite happy with that. Still not had a chance to clean it because the weather here has been terrible. It's been snowing and stuff, so they're pretty manky, but they'll clean up really nice, and then we'll get some spotlights on them and we'll do a video wiring them in. However, the good news was short-lived. I think maybe the next day, driving back home from work, I could tell straight away something was wrong. I'd let the engine run for a little bit and work. You know, I usually let it run for like 10 minutes before I drive home because it's cold in the morning. But this time it had only been running for 5 minutes, and the temperature gauge was already up to operating temperature, which I thought was weird, and it was cool still in the cab. But I'd been driving my wife's Civic diesel, and I thought maybe this one's just different, and maybe it's just heated up the engine before it's heated up the heater matrix. But so I drove it out the gate at work and then jumped out just to check the coolant, because I did think something was wrong. Coolant level was fine, so proceeded, then got on the motorway and just watched the temperature creep up. So got on the hard shoulder and I could hear a bit of a hissing, and then if I squeezed on any one of the front hoses on the engine, I could hear it coming for the turbo side. So I tracked it down to it's a hard pipe going into the turbo, but it's got one little rubber elbow. For some reason Mitsubishi decided to make one part of it rubber, and it's in a really hot area of the engine, so it's exposed to a lot of heat, and it's as standard. This little hose has like a little bit of corrugated metal over it, but this hose is so far gone, and it was, you know, coolant hoses have got like thread through them for strength, and they're quite tough, and this one's just like a balloon. It's just, so I've got a new one. Had to wait a couple of days to get one off Mitsubishi, but it was only £5. In fact, I'll show you it now. Actually, I've got the part number here. So that's the guy there. It seems to be quite a common thing. I found that a guy had wrote up a how-to online basically, but he removed the full pipe, but I managed to get into it from underneath the car, so let's go have a look. Right, so this will be really hard for me to show you, and I probably still need to use a torch, but right, so that barb down there that you can see, silver barb, I'll try and circle it on the video. Not this one here, not this guy. Right, that one's fine, but that does have the same kind of corrugated metal that was on the other one. So that goes onto here on the EGR. But this one down below that you can see, let's try and get in. Yep, that one below there. It goes from there into the block, which is just below that pipe, that black rusty pipe you can see at the top of the screen. Just below that, you'll just see the kind of coolant coloured hose. So it's a very, very short hose, but almost impossible to get to. I mean, if I come out, you know, you can see where that is now. it is a nightmare to get to. You can get to this side alright, but the other side you can't see the clip. The clip is really small. It's one of those hose clamps there, but it's a lot smaller because the pipe's like 8mm or something. So what I've actually did is I have to reach my arm up through here while lying underneath the L200 with some long nose pliers, and I managed to get it. So that needs changed. That's looking pretty fucked. So let's try and get the new one on. I'll show you the old pipe first. Here is the damage. So I mean, look at this. Look, you can just tell how distorted that pipe is. I mean, round about the hose clip there is the kind of size the pipe used to be, and you can see it's just blown out at the back there. Yeah, so hopefully that's all that's happened, and hopefully I've not warped the head without overheating. So let's get it back on. Right, well I got that slipped on much quicker than I was expecting. It's a nightmare to get into, but well, having the long nose pliers certainly helps get in for that wheel arch there. But so this is the corrugated metal that was on the pipe, which is supposed to offer it some sort of protection from all that heat from the turbo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to check it works first. But the plan is I bought this hose. At Halford's for like £4, hoping that it would do the job, but it's obviously way too big. But what I've done instead is I've cut it in the middle, and I'm going to use it as a bit of a sheath over the pipe to try and take some of the heat before the actual hose does. So I'll pop on the last coolant pipe that I took off, which is the EGR cooler, get some fresh coolant in it and hope for the best. To hop round and get some coolant. This is where mother baby lives. It's my toy, my MX-5. She's out for the winter, protecting her from this. Although lockup isn't doing too great a job of keeping the moisture off. But I'll need to get a wee rubber seal for along the bottom of that door there. But yeah, man, I miss this thing. Can't wait to get it back out. Right, pre-mixed coolant, good to go. Evidently not the first time I've dealt with a coolant system on this L200 as here is the original radiator. All leaks and all. Hence why I had all that coolant. I am going to be putting that front end, facelift front end, on this car soon. This is a facelift car. Someone crashed it, put a pre-facelift front end on it. So it'll be going back to its facelift glory soon. Very soon, hopefully. Well, while I top this off, it's now be a good time to subscribe if you haven't. If you generally like, I mean if you own one of these and you want to see everything that's going to go wrong, just hit subscribe because it's all going to go wrong with me. No leaks to report so far. See the old coolant burning off. Oh, that's terrible camera view. So there's our new hose down there. Yep. I always pick the best days to be working outside. I'm hoping with this being an early video on the channel, this will be like the humble beginnings, and by video 100 we'll be in a nice heated workshop. 5 Ferraris and Lamborghinis. And maybe we'll keep the L200 in there as well. Right, here's how we're going. Well, let me get my gloves. Right. So, you can see in here, no we can't. Right, you can see down there my sheath that I've made. Let's have a look. Might work. It's just to kind of cover it from, I guess, the heat that's rising from the turbo there. Bugger it. If it goes, it's £5 to do it again. And the only thing I've had to remove really to get into this is the heat shield that sits around here. I'll show you that in a second. And I had to pop off that hose for the EGR cooler. And to pop off the mud flap down here. So I'm going to button that back together and then I'll get it out for a spin. While I'm here, can you see what I mean about these, the 4-wheel drive solenoid down here? So, it's really hard to point, right, so try and, right, this bit here that I'm touching, right, that's the 2 plugs going into the solenoids for the 4-wheel drive. See there, see one of the right ones? And they look like I've got all the piping round the right way. You can see the old piping still there. Pipes are round the right way, but I'm wondering if I've got the plugs round the wrong way, because they do look as if they're overlapping, kind of funny there. See that? It looks like left's going to right and right's going to left there, so I'm going to swap that round and see what happens. Update, I'm really wet and swapping those plugs over didn't make a difference, so I'm going to need to get about it with a voltmeter and check those both even get voltage. And then start checking vacuum again, I guess. I know I've got vacuum on one line, but I don't know if it's changing, so that's for another day. But here's the heat shield that I had to remove to get into that pipe. There's just two 10mm bolts at the back down there, and one down here to pop that out and get you in to the pipe that's below that pipe there. Makes it quite hard to identify where the problem is as well when you're at the side of the road and that heat shield's there. But as I said, I was able to squeeze on the radiator hose and I could hear the leak. And I don't hear any hissing now when I do that, so thank God. Bloody hell, it just became more expensive to run this thing in the fucking 2 weeks it was parked up. All good so far, taking a wee run on the motorway here. Sitting about 2.5k and the temperature's not moving, so looks like that wee pipe was a problem. Pretty obvious problem since it was split in two, but I was worried that maybe something had caused the pipe to be pressurised and burst. But it's all going well now, so we'll get off this motorway and then we'll listen to some straight pipe noises, because I know that's what you're all here for, you filthy animals. Actually, since last time, a lot of people were saying their straight piped K74s don't sound like mine with the big psh when you change gear. And actually, my truck was actually over boosting, and I've just fixed a vacuum line on one of the solenoids, and it's kind of changed how it sounds now. It almost makes a shorter tone. It sounds like almost sounds like an aperture or a hole closes sooner now under vacuum, so it kind of cuts off the chirp a bit sooner. I'll try and demonstrate that for you now. Staying true to the values of the channel, I've not invested in any better equipment yet. Hopefully soon though. Really need to get a GoPro mounted outside so we can get it by that exhaust so we can hear it. I'll try and let you hear this short chirping now. Can you hear that? The way it closes a lot sooner. Try and put you out the window. That's me changing about 2k. I've missed driving this truck. When they're good, they're good. When they break, they're